Hello, I bring greetings from Mary's channel. I am so shocked at the Igbos coming out to demand for apology from what Babangida confessed that they all know before now. They are not demanding for their people that has been illegally locked up in every part of Nigeria simply because they are fighting against marginalization, pogrom and Igbophobia. Today we have Nnamdi Kanu Lon Gushing in detention for nothing.
Up the whole conversation there. While in another development, the Igbo Apex Group, Ohaneze Ndi Igbo, on Sunday demanded an apology of 10 trillion naira in compensation from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be paid to the Igbos following the revelation by former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida that the 1966 coup was not an Igbo coup as alleged. The revelation was contained in IBB's memoir, A Journey in Service. The group noted that the coup unleashed disastrous repercussions on the Igbo people, among other factors, which ultimately led to the horrors of the Biafra War. Let me take their statement in part. The group wrote, "The Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization, Ohaneze Ndi Igbo, extends its profound appreciation to General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida for his remarkable courage in officially declaring that the January 1966 coup was unequivocally not an Igbo coup. This pivotal acknowledgement is not merely a correction of historical nomenclature, but a significant moment in our collective pursuit of justice and reconciliation, signaling a potential end to the historical vindictiveness and cruelty that have been pervasive in federal government policies towards the Igbo nation. His forthright exemption of the Igbo from the egregious classification as enemies of the northern region in the aftermath of the coup is both timely and necessary, even if it arrives decades later. The mislabeling of the 1966 coup has unleashed disastrous repercussions upon the Igbo people, most tragically culminating in the January 1966 counter-coup, which decimated a military head of state of Igbo descent. The staggering loss of life, with approximately 3 million Igbos, predominantly innocent women and children, slaughtered during this conflict, continues to reverberate through our collective consciousness. In light of these egregious injustices and the deliberate neglect exhibited by successive administrations, Ohaneze Ndi Igbo hereby restates its demands as articulated previously during the Justice Oputa-led Judicial Commission for the Investigation of Human Rights Violation panel in 1999. The present federal government, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, must recognize this moment as an opportunity to extend a public and unequivocal apology on behalf of previous military regimes. Our demand for 10 trillion naira in reparations remains steadfast. This figure is not arbitrary, but a symbolic recognition of the indelible losses of the Igbo people have endured, or the Igbo people have endured. The time has come for true acknowledgement of these historical wrongs, which can only be rectified through reparations and sincere apologies. I mean, this was a detailed conversation, detailed statement. And, there's been a lot of reactions since that, excerpt of IBB's memoir came out where he debunked or dismissed the fact that the 1966 coup was an Igbo coup. A quick comment before I take some reactions.
Oji, take the reactions. I can't have
No, go ahead. Go ahead with your comment. I'll take this reaction after your comment.
See, IBB did not need to write in his book that it was not an Igbo coup before I had known that it was not an Igbo coup. Mm-hmm. For references, I have read, if not my last count, over 10 to 15 books on the war and what happened around that time. One of the most updated one that was not really biased was Centaure's account of the Nigerian Civil War. I've read Philip Evio's account, The Cage Bird Sings. I've read, Frederick Foster. I've read many accounts. It was not an Igbo coup. There was no Igbo coup. The narrative of an Igbo coup was to be able to hang, a particular ethnic group in all of that. These were a bunch of idealists that said, oh, the way forward to obliterate this political class, this thieving political, and their problems then was the same thieving political class.
The coup plotters.
Yes. That they became very idealistic. And where did that mindset come from? It came from the elections and the fight that ensued after the second elections, after the 59, I think the 64 elections, where they saw what the political class was doing, where they saw what was happening in the south and other regions of the country. So this bunch of idealists felt that they could save the country, which was a big mistake. Ademoye that wrote the book Why We Struck was not an Igbo man. Kaduna Nzego was from Okpanam. Kaduna Nzego was so Hausa. They have Igbo doctrine. Was born in the north. His name was Kaduna because he was born in Kaduna. So all of this was part of the sentiment that they used for this war then. And there are many copious accounts. It was just a bunch of idealists. They felt the way to go was the way to clean up the system, but it was wrong. There was no ethnic. The same narrative of ethnic coloration stemmed from what the political class started infusing, so that there was going to be a fight back, coupled with the media. And that's why foreign medias also played a role in this. And they whipped up that sentiment, and it started to snowball into the anarchy.
Right.
In moving forward, we need to heal. We
Absolutely.
need to know that we are all on this table of this hurt and pain, and we should try as much as possible to fix it. And we must be able to do justice. The greatest form of reparation for me is justice.
Yeah.
And we must stop the marginalization against the Igbos. Infrastructure must be built in that land.
All right.
We must allow infrastructure go round. Yes, we have development commission across all regions now. We must, there are statutory transfers to the budget.
Yeah.
We must be able to pump money there. Also, we must bring about federal infrastructural present development. Then we must also stop this talk. An Igbo man cannot be president. Who said so? Who said so? Because you see, these people forget a lot. After the Civil War, one of the paths to reconciliation was that a deliberate attempt by the two key political parties to have Philip Omiedi as the running mate of Awolowo and what's his name now? The number one,
Alex
Ekweme, the first man to get a PhD in architecture in Nigeria.
All right.
So we need to be able to bring ourselves to this table of recompense and bring the conversation clear on the table that we must fight for a path to peace and stop this Igbophobia and hate against Igbos and all of that. All of us must be one to make this unity work.
All right. So you are all you're up for that, compensation, the 10 trillion. I mean, there's been conversation about, how that amount of money, there should be some sort of wider consultation as to how Ohaneze arrived at that amount of money. But
for me, due compensation.
You believe in due compensation.
A lot of federal infrastructure in the east and other parts that have been disgruntled in the country, sustainable ones. That's what I don't know about 10 trillion, but I'm all about justice.
So let me take a comment that follows.